Last thing we're going to talk about here is the types of joints. So hopefully you guys know what a joint is. It's kind of the place between where the bones meet. And so we have three main types of joints. So when you talk about like your elbow is a joint, or your knee is a joint, or your hip is a joint, or you have like finger joints, okay, that's where your bones can bend. Those usually fall into these three main joint categories. So the first type of joint is a ball and socket joint. So that is like a ball, you think like your fist inside of a socket, and it moves like this. Okay? So this allows the bones to move and rotate in nearly all directions. So an example of a ball and socket joint would be your hip or your shoulder, right? So think about your arm. You can move it in nearly all directions, not every direction, but nearly all directions. And same with your hip. If you're flexible, you can move your hip pretty much in every direction. Obviously not every single direction. You can't move like back inwards, but you can move it in nearly all directions. So those are ball and socket joints. Yours should say, I think, examples here or something. I don't know. It looks a little differently, but you still got to have your examples. All right, the next type of joint is a hinge joint. A hinge joint allows bones to move back and forth in a single direction. So you can think about a door hinge. It usually allows a door to move back and forth in one direction. You can't move it like up and down and in and out. Okay, you can just move the door open, closed, open, closed. So those are considered hinge joints. You have a lot of hinge joints in your body. Your fingers are hinge joints, right? Because you can move them back and forth like this. And your elbows are hinge joints, and your knees are hinge joints. Lastly, you have pivot joints, okay, and this allows bones to rotate. So you have a couple of pivot joints. One is your neck, right? You can rotate your head by using your neck, and then your lower arm below the elbow. So if you hold your upper arm still, right, and you move below your elbow, you can pivot and rotate your lower arm.